Welcome to another edition of the Noles Podcast. I'm your host, Gregory McCoy. Today is December 26, 2019. Hope you had a Merry Christmas to all the listeners, to all the supporters, to all the subscribers. This podcast is by a fan for fans. I am not a journalist. I am not a reporter. I am not an insider. I do not work for a website. The majority of my content comes from me. Other content comes from the internet. Let's go ahead and start, man. Usual format. One offensive player, one defensive player that I like to highlight. First, I'm going to start with Brendan Gant. Safety. 6'2", 200 pounds. Great size for safety. One of the few players the previous staff put in the right position. Ball skills needs work. Long and athletic. Stiff coming out of breaks. Okay tackler. Needs to get stronger. Needs to get in the film room. Can challenge for playing time. I would not put this guy in do or die coverage situations. Yet with practice and dedication, he could be better in coverage. NFL comparison, Jaquiski Tartt for the San Francisco 49ers. In the limited action that I saw Brendan Gant, he actually, he played okay. They had him more as a box safety. He wasn't in coverage situations. I mean, he kind of played like Nasruddin played. And I kind of see him in that mold. Nasruddin is a little bit bigger than him, but the athleticism is pretty much the same. Nasruddin plays some coverage, but usually they have him coming up to the line of scrimmage to make plays since he's such a big guy. And I see this guy here, Brendan Gant, in the same mold. Next, Brady Scott, offensive guard, 6'6", 312 pounds. Until Dante Lucas arrived on campus, he was the best offensive lineman on the roster. It's not saying much considering how the offensive line has played the last several years. Needs to get stronger, has trouble with bull rush and speed rush. Randy Clements, being the offensive line coach, improved his game tremendously. Gets overwhelmed with defenders his size and needs to improve footwork. Overcame injuries to be a decent offensive guard. Has potential to be honorable mention all ACC if he can do all the things I previously mentioned. NFL comparison. Jordan Gross, formerly of the Carolina Panthers. Like I said, before Dante Lucas came on campus, he was considered the best offensive lineman on the roster. That's not really saying much. The offensive line has basically, for lack of a better word, sucked the last couple years. We really haven't had a decent offensive line since 2014. So to me, this guy needs to get in the weight room. He needs to get in the film room. He needs to constantly practice his technique, and he needs to learn how to finish on pass blocking and run blocking. If he can improve tremendously on that, then yeah, he could be an honorable mention, all ACC type player. Like I said, there's nowhere to go but up for him. He's definitely not going pro. So he's going to be back, and he'll probably be the starter. And, hopefully, he can improve and become a better player. So that was my breakdown on my my one offensive player and my one defensive player. Next, I wanted to do a top 10 on best football locations. So all things being equal, if a recruit just wanted to go somewhere based on location, I think these would be his top 10 choices. Number 10, Tallahassee, Florida. I mean, like I said, I think I've said this in several other episodes. Tallahassee, Florida is a great place to watch a football game. It's a great place to, it's a great town. I've been there several times. Love it. Tampa or South Florida. University of South Florida. What's not to like about Tampa? Great location. Number 8, Las Vegas, UNLV. Enough said. Everybody loves Las Vegas. All right, so I'm going to surprise people with number 7, Coastal Carolina. Okay, Myrtle Beach. All right. You never been there? Hey, man, great place to go for vacation. And they got a pretty good football team, FCS football team. Number 6, San Diego, California. San Diego State University. Great location. Listen, San Diego State University football team is a sleeping giant. They play in the old stadium where the Chargers used to play. So basically now they have their own stadium. They went 9-3 this year. I know they play in the Mountain West. But if you could ever get a guy that could recruit to San Diego State University, like I said, sleeping giant. Number 5, Miami, Florida. Been there several times. Enough said. I don't really have to do a selling job for Miami, Florida, man. Number 4, Austin, Texas. Just like Tallahassee, Florida. Great college town. Great place to go see a game. I mean, if you've never been there, that's a great place. If you're like a young, 18, 19, 20, 21-year-old kid, hey, man, doesn't get any better than that. That was number 4. Number 3, Los Angeles, California, UCLA, USC. I don't really have to do a selling job on Los Angeles. Okay? All right. Number 2, Boca Raton, Florida. Paradise, man. Been through there a couple of times. Hey, you live down there, you in another tax bracket, man. That was number 2. My number 1 location, just based on location, the number 1 place has got to be Hawaii. I mean, just imagine if Hawaii was a great program. You wouldn't, if they could ever get a good head coach, man, come on, Hawaii sells itself. So those are my top 10 best locations. All right. And then I did another top 10 for best pregame ritual. Okay. Like before the game starts, the team will do something to psych the crowd up. This is what I came up with. Number 10, Oklahoma with the Stagecoach. That's number 10. Number 9, Clemson running down the hill. Number 8, Ohio State dotting the I. That's really the marching band, but it's the same thing. That's what they get hype about. That was number 8. Number 7, Michigan running out and hitting the banner. Number 6, Miami coming out of the tunnel with the smoke. Number 5, Notre Dame hitting the play like a champion sign, coming down the steps. Renegade. Number 4, Renegade dropping the spear on the Florida State logo. One of the best ever, in my opinion. That was number 4. Tennessee Volunteers running through the T. That was number 3. Number 2, USC Trojan dropping the sword in the middle of the field. I think that's pretty much iconic, man. That was number 2. And then number 1, I would have to say Auburn with the eagle, the war eagle. Like, how long does it take to practice that? You have an eagle flying all around the stadium, then he just lands on the his owner's arm. That's awesome. All right. And lastly, I wanted to break down. I think I already broke it down, but I wanted, since the games are going to be played on Saturday, the 28th, I wanted to go ahead and break down the college football playoff again. All right. First game, LSU versus Oklahoma. If Oklahoma plays a typical Big 12 football game, they will get blowed out. Oklahoma's defense can't play with LSU's offense. Oklahoma's only hope is to RPO with Jalen Hurts and score on every possession. LSU just needs to play their game, not be overconfident, and play with a sense of urgency like they have all season. They will win. They are the better team. They have better talent. My prediction, LSU 44, Oklahoma 21. I just feel like that's how this game is going to go, man. I mean, virtually at every position, LSU is better. Like I said, Oklahoma's going to have to score every time they get the ball to win this game, because pretty much it's CeeDee Lamb and Jalen Hurts on offense. They've suspended a couple of starters. It's going to be an uphill climb for them, man. It really is. I think putting Alabama in this game would have made it a better game, but whatever. Game 2. All right. Clemson versus Ohio State. Number 3, Clemson versus number 2, Ohio State. Clemson in my eyes is the best team in the country, but they haven't played anybody. With that being said, I think they're still going to boat race Ohio State. Ohio State is like, the only hope they really have is to slow this game down and run the football. If you're going to try to get into a shootout with Clemson, their defense is elite. And I think you've given Brent Venables basically a month to get prepared for your offense. So unless you do something totally different than what's on film, history says that he's going to get stops and get that ball back to that offense. I'm picking Clemson to win easily, man. I think it's going to be like 38-17. But if Ohio State can come out and run the football and slow this game down and keep Trevor Lawrence on the sideline, they got a chance. Justin Fields is going to have to run for at least, I'd say, 60 to 70 yards. And he's probably going to have to score a couple of times. And then their running game is going to have to be tremendous. And the defense, Chase Young is going to have to play lights out. He's going to have to get a couple of sacks on Trevor Lawrence. So obviously I'm picking Clemson and LSU to advance. And once that happens Saturday, I'm coming with my championship breakdown and preview. So that's pretty much going to conclude episode number 26. I want to thank everyone who listens to this podcast. It's available on YouTube. Subscribe, like. It's available on Apple Podcasts. Rate, review, subscribe. It's on Google Podcasts and Spotify Podcasts. Thank you for your continued support, and go Noles.